Okay, welcome everyone. I am Professor Dr. Jason K. Austin, aka Dr. Jace, and this is my introductory lecture for 7301, which is your Introduction to Information Technology class. Now, this lecture will be required and it may be close to an hour long, so I apologize, but there's some information that I really need to get out to you all in order to make this class go a little smoother. And I also apologize for the rough start that we encountered, but we are going to get through that, I promise, because librarians are resilient. But having said that, yes, this is going to be sort of a mandatory lecture where I just go over the course and the expectations. And this is my way of kind of breaking the ice a little bit, letting you all see a face and hear a voice with the name. And this is also my way of, just kind of easing some concerns, easing some frustrations, some hostilities, because this is probably most of your first semester here with CISLT. And this is also a chance for me to hopefully make a little case for myself and explain some things about myself that will hopefully allow you all to have a little bit more fun in the class, and then also understand why I'm doing some of the things I do, because I'm very out of the box, I would say, as an instructor here, and I am probably one of the most polarizing instructors in this program, just to be honest, but I think that there is perhaps some misunderstanding related to me. So, having said that, let's dive in. The first thing I want to do is explain a little bit about who I am. So yes, who is Dr. Jace? Who is Dr. Jace Austin? Well, I am from a small town called Soul City. Believe it or not, that really is the place, Soul City, North Carolina. And so, and I grew up in the South, and I have only been in the Midwest now since August 2018. I've only been with CISL since 2018, since August of 2018, so it hasn't even been a full year yet, and it usually takes about 3 years to kind of get in a groove as a professor. So that's one thing that I want to know, is that that I want you all to know, is that I'm still relatively new, but I am figuring some things out. Another reason why I explain where I'm from is just because I think that there are some cultural and regional nuances here that I think that some people in the Midwest just honestly aren't that used to small town Southerners, and so we may come across as unfriendly or intimidating or something of that nature. Those are things that have popped up in some of my teaching evaluations in the past. So I want to kind of dispel all that. I want to say that even though I might seem kind of short, or I might seem kind of terse or something of that nature in this online environment, or when responding to emails, or even in the lectures, I tend to be kind of gritty and kind of blunt, but I am actually a very approachable guy. I'm a very nice guy. I'm a very friendly guy. And I didn't really encounter a lot of these things with my personality and how it rubs off on people until I moved here to the Midwest. And that's not something that I'm saying, hey, what's going on with the Midwest? That's not what this is at all. This goes back to diversity, and diversity is a big deal in our field. And I just think that it isn't so much an issue of, it's not so much an issue of Midwesterners or this and that, and Southerners or this and that, and one is good and one is bad. That's definitely not the case. But I do think they're different. And so I think that some things that have seemed fairly normal behavior in the South, as far as how I communicate and how I convey things, have been a little strange to people in the Midwest. So I say all that just to say, this part of diversity is cultural competency and regional, understanding the regions where you are and how they may be different, how Southerners may be different from Midwesterners, who may be different from people on the West Coast, who may be different from people from New York or from the Northeast. So, don't be intimidated by me. I'm a very friendly guy. It's just that I think that my Southernness especially my small town Southerners, may catch people a little off guard here. I mean, I think I'm basically a character who could have came right out of In the Heat of the Night. And I'm not sure that a lot of people who came up here on the Midwest are particularly well versed in that kind of communication style. And I've had to adjust to the communication styles and the culture here in the Midwest as well. So it may be, I am kind of a polarizing figure from what I've seen. And I just want to say, don't try not to be too off-put or too intimidated by my style, because it really is, I think, just regional and maybe cultural as well. But you know, I care about you all. That's what I want you all to always remember. I may be a little hard on you, but you know, I care about you, and I'm rooting for the success of all of you. Another thing that I want you all to be aware of is that I'm actually in a joint position with the University of Missouri system, and that makes me really busy. So I'm going to try to get grades back to you as quickly as possible, but just to be quite honest, I don't grade as quickly as other professors in the program. And that's because in addition to my teaching load, I am also, I'm an advisor, I'm a recruiter, I do a little bit with job placement, and I am also expected to publish and present, and I am also a librarian at UMKC in Kansas City. So when I'm wearing all of those hats, it does delay my ability to get assignments back to you, and that's one of the biggest complaints that I've had in the past, is students want me to grade things faster, and I totally understand. However, I can't create more time than there actually is. So when there are things related to advising or lesson planning or you know, my librarian duties that are day to day at UMKC, that can interrupt how quickly I return papers and other assignments back to you all. So I'm going to apologize for that in advance, but please, please, please feel empowered to reach out to me. I am grading things as quickly as I possibly can, given the responsibilities that I have, and there's no shame in just, you know, reaching out saying, Dr. Chase, hey, when do you think we're going to get our grades back for this, this, and that? You know, and my response may unfortunately be, I'm not particularly sure because I've got all this going on. But again, I'm going to grade fairly, and I'm going to get the grades back as soon as I possibly and realistically can. So, you know, main thing there is, yes, there may be some delays in grading, but please don't worry too much about that. One thing I would say is life is too damn short to just be, you know, so worried and uptight about things. One thing that I like to say is that there are no bibliographic emergencies, you know, so I try to get people not to stress out too much about library school. And if you are feeling stressed about your grade, one thing that I would assure you of, I know you all want to do well and probably want to finish with 4.0, but one thing that I want to assure you of is that completing the program in a professional school arena is what really matters. Still put forth valiant effort and try to strive for that A, but you know, don't let the idea of I might not get an A be something that ruins your life quality, okay? So that's one of the first things I want to get out of the way. Another thing that I want to get out of the way really quickly here is to say this lecture is mandatory. The rest are going to be optional. So one thing that you can do, though, I'm a Southerner, so I talk slow. I understand that. So one thing I want you all to know to do is, let's find something that's safe content.
What kind of world do you want?
So one thing that I want you all to know that you can do is you can speed up these lectures if you decide to listen to them.
Live in.
So I'll show you how to
bring
do that
families closer together.
I want to bring.
All right. So when you open one of my lectures on YouTube, what you can do is go to the settings icon here, and you can adjust the playback speed. Now you hear this song. I don't own the rights to this music, but you'll hear it speed up when I do this.
You can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody.
The reason I say that is because, yes, speed me up. Even if you speed me up to that 1.5 or that 1.75, you'll still probably hear everything that I'm saying because I talk so slow and you won't miss anything. So that's a way to get through my YouTube lectures a little bit quicker. Okay? All right, so now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's take a look at this syllabus, because that's what we really want to know about. All right, so the syllabus for the summer 2019 course. Again, my name is Dr. Jason Kelly Austin, aka Dr. Jace. You can call me Dr. Jace, you can call me Jason, you can call me Jace, you can call me Dr. Austin. I don't get too picky in most of that stuff. Now, most people do refer to me as Dr. Jace, and that's an identity that I have embraced and will continue to embrace. Email address. The best way to reach me is by email, but there is a 48 to 72 hour turnaround time when you email me. If you don't hear from me within 72 hours, please reach back out to me. austinj@missouri.edu. My phone number for my office, 816-235-1875. I do have an office in the library on the campus of UMKC. It's 122B. You can come find me there if you are in the Metro Kansas City area. Also, office hours by appointment. I do run online office hours in the spring and fall, but as of right now, it's not my plan to do that during the summer, but that may change. Okay? So some other things I wanted to go through really quickly, and I do expect you all to read the entire syllabus. Even though I go through this overview, I'm going to try to go through it really quickly again because I'm trying to keep this video under an hour. The primary course goals of this introductory graduate course are to familiarize the student with several aspects of applied information technologies. And that includes concepts associated with information technology, creation of content, access to content, and topical considerations, including online databases, digital libraries, and other topics. All right, so there are some learning objectives that are tied to this class, specifically learning objectives. We have departmental learning objectives here at CISL, and there are two in particular that are applicable to this course the most, and those are objective number 3, students apply, assess, and evaluate information technology, including emerging technologies, as they affect delivery of information. And then also objective 8 in our program, students recognize the need for additional competencies in specialized areas and relevant standards from the applicable accrediting bodies. So there are assignments that are tied to those learning objectives as well. Let's move on because we will talk about the assignments a little later. Okay, so technical resources when you are running into problems. First of all, as far as accessing the class, if you've got any issues with accessing this class or other Canvas related issues, you can direct those to the IT help desk, which is area code 573-882-5000. Library resources. Please, since you are a library science student, you probably want to familiarize yourself with the library and what it does. Ellis has some tremendous people working for them, and understanding what resources are at your disposal through the library will go a long way. It is not, unfortunately, it is not my job as the professor to really acquaint you with the library. The librarians are professional people with graduate degrees. They are the people who can really orient you to the library. I have some familiarity with Ellis Library, and then also because I work for UMKC's Nichols Library, I do have a lot more experience with them since I serve as a librarian for them. But I am not going to hold your hands through learning about library resources on the Ellis webpage and how you should use those. That's what your librarians are for. Okay. Moving down a little further, technical help. Again, you can reach out to the DeWitt Help Desk at 573-882-5000. If they can't assist you, then they will probably direct you to someone who can. Online class netiquette. And this is kind of weird because, again, as I said earlier, I am kind of a polarizing professor. Some students like me, a lot of other students just don't like me and don't know how to take me, but I can be pretty blunt and at times kind of crude. Not because I'm aiming to be, but again, I just think it's regional and that's something I'm still adjusting to. I think some of the things that aren't seen as rude or crass in the South might be in the Midwest. So it's just a regional thing. But it's easier for me to control that in writing than it is in speaking. And what I will say is I am going to ask you all to be respectful of myself and your classmates when it comes to dialogue. I'm probably going to have some optional discussion board posts that I post throughout the semester, and I'm going to allow you all to interact with each other because I think it's very important for you to build up a network of people and to start while you are in library school, because it's not about what you can do, it's who knows who in this American dream. That is something from the rapper Yellow Wolf. And there's a lot of truth to that in our field. There is a lot of it's about who you know in our field. So get your support base early, and that includes meeting some people within this class. So I'm going to try to facilitate opportunities to do that. It is easier though to do in a face-to-face classroom setting than in an online classroom setting. In the online classroom setting, it's easier to do during the spring and fall semesters than in these crammed summer semesters. So I apologize for not being able to facilitate the same amount of meeting with each other that you would otherwise, but I'm going to try to do it as best as I can. There will be no Zoom classes during the summer. I just can't feasibly do that during the summer. It's something we do during the spring and fall. It's not something we do during the summer. You do have a required textbook for this class. The Library Technology Companion 5th edition from 2016. There is a 6th edition that I think is being published this fall, and so of course you don't have to have that since I don't think it's out yet. However, I will allow you to use the 4th edition. If you find the 4th edition on Amazon, then you are able to proceed with the 4th edition. The content is different, but what you need to do is find the matching content and do the best you can from there. And the 4th edition is fairly cheap on Amazon. There are some other articles that are available in Canvas, and then some PowerPoints. I've actually got all the PowerPoints locked because I'm not sure how necessary they are, and given that we're on this compressed summer schedule, I can't weigh you all down with it so much. Here's my grading scale. And so if you get at least 93% of the points, you'll get an A. If you get at least 80% of the points, you'll get a B. Most of my students who try and give an earnest effort actually do get a B, at least, if not an A. That's no license to slack off. I want you to put your best foot forward, but I'm just saying. You can get at least a B in this class as long as you put forth the effort. Now, one thing that I want to say is please don't stress out about your grade too much. Yeah, I get it. I get that everyone wants to finish with a 4.0, but at the same time, this is a professional program, a professional school program. And so employers aren't really going to be caring about whether or not you had a 4.0 or a 3.8 or a 3.5. They're going to want to know that you can complete a program and that you can do the work that you need to do. Did I finish library school with a 4.0? Hell no. Okay. Late work policy. I have this in the syllabus the way it's worded, and it's pretty stern. However, I am going to say that stuff does come up. First of all, for the discussion posts that were due on June the 9th, which is when I'm recording this, there's a grace period for that because it's not your fault that the class wasn't repaired until late. So if you're a little late getting your June 9th stuff up, that I'm not penalizing for. There's no way. Of course, I'm not going to do that to you all. But there is some, if something is interrupting your life and you need an extension, please let me know by email. And it doesn't have to be something as serious as your parents dying or your grandparents dying or you having surgery. Of course, those are the big things that I'll probably almost always grant an extension on. But even if it's something that might seem a little minor, like let's say a assignment is due on Sunday night, and on Saturday your cat dies, or on Saturday your significant other breaks up with you. Those are things that really do interrupt life, put us in depression. I hate that people underestimate how upset you can get when your pet dies. That's a big freaking deal, y'all. And then, of course, relationships turning sour, that is awful. So, if you say, hey, Dr. Jace, I just need another day or two, because all I can think of is my boyfriend or girlfriend breaking up with me, or all I can think of is, this cat that I had for 5 years and has been my best friend and my roommate. My cat passed away. Can you just give me a day? I'm more than likely to give you a day or two on that, okay? I am human. These are your assignments here, and the point values. I don't have the due dates listed here, but I do have those on the assignment prompts. The IT exploration topic is actually coming due next Sunday, so be aware of that. Online database review is worth 100 points. Library system vendor review, 100 points. IT paper, 200 points. And then your discussion board participation will be 90 total points, and I will break down how that works. Assignment submissions. If at all possible, please avoid the PDFs, because what I like to do is I like to make comments on assignments as I'm grading them. However, I know that there are going to be people who have to use PDF for one way or another, but I do prefer either the DOC, the DOCX, or the RTF formats. Here is how discussion prompts are going to be graded for this class. Okay, so there are 9 discussion prompts in this class, 9 required discussion prompts, and I'll come back to that a little later. So 9 required discussion prompts, and what you will be graded on for this summer course is that it's a total of 90 points, and you get 8 points for each original substantive post that you post, and then you need to respond to at least one classmate in each discussion prompt. Now you can respond to more than one classmate, and again, I want you all to communicate with each other, so please feel welcome. But you have to get at least, in order to get your full 10 points for each discussion prompt, you have to have one original post and at least one response to a classmate for the total of 10 points per prompt. 9 prompts equals 90 points. And this will explain what I am meaning by a substantive original post. These are the criteria upon which I grade discussion posts: meaningful and new ideas, coherence, and relevance of replies to other messages. Okay. My expectations, what to expect from a technology-enhanced course. It's essential that you access this course several times through the week, in the summer, Monday through Friday, as possible, to interact, submit assignments, things of that nature. Don't worry about taking online quizzes. For the summer, I have phased those out. So if you're not able to access the quizzes, that's why. You don't freaking have time, okay? This is summer school. You don't have time for all those quizzes. So I'm just like, yeah, my students aren't going to have to do those this summer. What the instructors and your peers expect of you. You've agreed to contribute to our discussions. You will be required also to be respectful to a degree. You can definitely disagree with one another without being disrespectful. No name calling, please. And I don't mind a little profanity, honestly. I think that some students react to profanity a lot worse than others. I'm a very profane person, just face to face. I'm tempering it over the course of this video that I'm a profane person face to face. So I will try not to write any profanity, but some may slip out when I'm speaking in these lectures. But if I see, dams and hells and some things like that, I had one student last semester call himself a badass, and I was just like, yeah, you kind of are a badass, dude. So I'm not going to be too terrible on the on word policing, so long as I still think that you are not doing anything that denigrates one of your classmates. From the instructor, you can expect communication. Again, I apologize, it does sometimes take me up to 72 hours to respond, or even more. If you don't hear from me within 72 hours, get back to me. I've got email glitches too. I know it sounds like a lot of excuses, but I have austinj@missouri.edu and austinj@umkc.edu feeding into the same email account. And so I've seen some messages go missing and everything. So reach back out, okay? Organization of the Canvas site. You've got the announcements. Class lectures will be posted there. Syllabus is your key to knowing what's going on. Modules, you need to access these readings and other materials to successfully complete the course. Assignments, that's where you will turn in your work and know what work is expected of you. You will see assignment prompts in the assignment section of the class. Discussions. Actually, I have phased out this weekly versus general discussion forums for the summer. I will be reintroducing that back during the regular spring and fall, but it's not going to be a summer thing. So Zoom, we will not have any Zoom sessions, so I phased that out for the summer as well. Grades, you can find those in the grade book once I post grades. Again, unfortunately, because of the nature of my job, it takes me a while to return assignments, but I'm going to get them graded as soon as I possibly can. It's just that I can't create time where there is none. And then you got support and policies and library resources. Here is your weekly schedule. Assume that class will start at noon on Tuesdays and last till midnight on Sundays. That's just a way of me trying to organize you all so that you all know what to expect on a week-to-week basis. But modules 1 and 2 started last week, and again, I know we had some difficulties with those starts, but again, you have a grace period as far as completing your online participation for modules 1 and 2. And then this coming Tuesday, June 11th, is when some of these other things start. So you can find your module, you can find your module blueprint here, June 18th, and you've got basically 2 modules per week. It would be 1 module per week during the regular semesters, but during summer we are cramming, so it's going to be a little painful, y'all. So yeah, you can just go through and you'll see what's expected of you, and then there are a few other policies down there. So that is the syllabus review. Now let's go through a few other things, and then you will be turned loose. So again, announcements, that's where I'm posting information. If I add an optional discussion prompt, it's going to be announced in announcements. If I have any other communication that I need to communicate to you all, it'll probably be sent to your inbox in Canvas, which should also go to your student email, and then it will also usually be posted in this announcement section, and this is also where I will put lectures, including this lecture. Assignments. Okay, so here's what you need to worry about and what you don't need to worry about. So this class participation thing, it's off during the summer. I tried to unpublish it. You still may see it, but you're not going to be able to complete it. That's because you don't have to complete it. It's summer. You've got too much going on anyway. The discussion prompts 1 through 9, you will see the ones that have been remaining in the class. As you can see, like this week 11 thing, it's unpublished, which is why you see that there as opposed to the check mark. So you will see prompts 1 through 9. This we here thing actually counts as your prompt 2. So you should already have that, and then you'll see prompts 1 through 9. So again, the way to get your full 90 points in class participation is to have one original post for each prompt and then respond to at least one classmate for each prompt. And so that's how that works. Stretch assignments, don't worry about them. I have disabled those as well. As far as your 4 major assignments in the class, you will be able to see what's expected of you. You'll see the due dates. So you've got June the 16th by 11:59 p.m., 23rd, the 14th, and then the 26th. Now the 26th, that final paper, I've just got to let you know, that is actually a Friday, not a Sunday. You need to turn in your final paper by July the 26th, a Friday at 11:59 p.m. I have to have your grades turned in by July the 30th. So in order for me to do that, I'm probably just going to be busting my behind, grading those final papers within a day or two. I won't be sleeping very much at that time. I might be a little cranky, but that's how I get those grades in. But you'll see the rest and you can plan accordingly. And for any of these, once you click on it, you should see your prompt, and you may or may not see a rubric, just depending on how the assignment is designed. But you follow these directions and you should be good. Now, one thing that I don't do, that I may do in the future, but I've avoided it so far, is that students in my past classes here at Mizzou have asked me if I could do like student example papers. And the reason that I don't is because I think that then I just give you a blueprint. I just give you a template, and then you can mindlessly complete the template. And I want to see creativity from you all. I want to see you all thinking, and I want to see your best foot forward. So that's why I am probably not going to do the student example papers. And we're going to see how that goes. This is my first time, again, teaching 7301, so I might decide I need to do this in the future. But also, if I provide example papers, I'm going to grade much more harshly. So what you guys should know is that you can, what you guys need to know basically is that because you don't have an example paper, I don't have a way of saying, well, you didn't do this to the template, and so mark off, mark off, mark off. I want to see your creativity. I want to see where it goes, and I am going to grade fairly accordingly. Now, one thing that I've also had students kind of do in previous semesters is kind of freak out about, they freaked out because they got like a B or even a C on the assignment. And what I want to drive home is that you can get a B on an assignment and still get an A in the class. So don't take a B as the end of the world. Don't even take a C as the end of the world. You could get like a C on one assignment and then get A's on the others, and then get perfect participation and still probably finish with a low A. So, you know, I just say that to say that, you know, not everything you're going to do is perfect. You're students, and I understand that. But just because you don't get a perfect grade doesn't mean that you're not well on your way for a very good grade. Okay. The discussions. Let me actually switch something here. So one thing that I was not able to do was I was not able to rearrange the prompts. Canvas does not let me do that, because of course the sensible thing to do would be prompt 1, then prompt 2, then prompt 3, and then prompt 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's not something I can do. So I can't move them up and down. Canvas doesn't allow me to do that. So you'll see prompt 3 here, and then you'll have to scroll down and you'll see prompt 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But you are responsible for all of these discussion prompts, okay? Now I'm going to leave that student view. And so, yes, go ahead and when you've done your readings and so forth, then go ahead and try to hit those discussion boards and talk to your people. Okay. And then support policies and library resources. I'm not going to go through that too much, and we've already talked about outcomes. So that's pretty much the bulk of what I wanted to cover. And so from there, I think I can pretty much let you all go again. There will probably be some optional discussion posts that are added to the course, and but you've got your required ones already. But I do want to facilitate as I can. I don't have a lot of time, but as I can, I want to facilitate some extra discussion between you all. And I would just recommend, if you see someone whose feedback and input you really like, I would recommend reaching out to them, maybe befriending that person, because again, you all are going to need each other. And then again, I would just say, you know, we're not a life and death profession for the most part. It's not like you're training to be a doctor or a lawyer or a car mechanic even. You know, you definitely want your car mechanic to know what they're doing when they repair your brakes. But when it comes to library school, you know, I want you all to not take yourselves so seriously. I think that this can be an enjoyable profession, and when you get into the profession, you're going to see a lot of librarians who don't take themselves seriously at all. And that's how I would, you know, be serious, I guess, be professional, but don't go around being too serious and uptight about things. That's my recommendation. Life is too short, and so there's no need to stress yourselves in this class with trying to be perfect and just trying to be the best. You know, there's a place in this profession for all of you, I'm sure. So, you know, just try to enjoy this class. You may or may not enjoy it. Some people do and some people don't, but try to enjoy it and try to not freak out about a lot of things, because I'm not going to freak out. You know, one thing that I'm not going to let anyone do, student or fellow faculty here at Mizzou or at UMKC, I'm not letting anyone get me to a point where I'm just super having to be just totally serious and uptight about everything. That's not how, you know, librarianship should be an enjoyable profession, in my opinion. And I used to be a newspaper reporter, which I had the power to destroy lives when I was reporting. And there was a lot of gravity to that, and it was a lot of pressure. And I refuse to be that same way in LIS. In the LIS, Library and Information Sciences, I want to, you know, have a good time, enjoy myself, and I want my students to do the same. There are going to be some rough patches. There already have been, as you saw, but you know, don't freak out, please. Just try to enjoy yourself. Try to enjoy this class as much as possible. Give me some honest feedback when you know, a lot of the criticism that I get in my student evaluations is very biting. It's very critical of me, and it should be. And I try to make adjustments based on that. And sometimes people think I'm being defensive, but again, I think it's just cultural and regional. You know, you are welcome to come to me, okay? I am very approachable, even if sometimes it seems like I'm not. So, having said that, I will post the lecture videos will be shorter from here on out, and they will be, well, they may not be shorter. They'll definitely be optional, though, from here on out. This is the only required one. And you know, let's have a good time. Let's learn. Let's enjoy each other. Let's meet each other, get to know each other, make each other our network. But let's have a good time, folks. Okay. It is 2019. One time. Love y'all. I'm out.